We're down at the marina today to do what is a bit of an unusual job. Welcome to It's a Boat Thing and Not So Technical. Now you may remember the boat Coco, featured a lot on the channel. The boat itself has had a few issues with an existing turbo. It's been refurbished. We've had a second-hand version of that on the boat. Well, Gary has bitten the bullet, and today we are going to fit a brand new turbo to see if we can address the problem that he's been having with the power delivery. We'll go and see what the setup is within his engine, and then we're going to attempt to try and film this by clambering all over the engine and show you how we fit that turbo. Let's go and meet Gary, see what he's got to say. Morning, Gary. Are you on board?
Hello and welcome. Hi, Pete.
Are you getting a head start? You was down there all the time.
I'm glad you come along.
There's me sillily looking for you in the cabin, and of course you're in the engine room already. Let me get changed into my scruffs, and then we'll get down in the engine room together, and we'll explain what we're going to be doing today, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'll be good. Hi everybody and welcome aboard Coco. Coco is a 32-foot Bavaria, or Bavaria 32 Sport, which I've had now for a few years. It's a good boat, it's done us well, and it's equipped with all the normal things a Bavaria 32 Sport has, and it's engined by two Volvo Penta D3 160As, as you can see here. Now, everyone tells me we've got a lot of room in this engine bay, but to be honest, I find with any engine working on it, you have to be a contortionist with 5-foot arms and about 3 elbows. So I've approached Peter, who runs It's a Boat Thing channel, and he's a good mate of mine. And I said, could you help me out? Because you're younger, fitter, not as good looking, but he's much better at engineering. Now, what I've asked him to do with me today is on my port engine, I've got problems with my turbocharger. It's a normal vane, I think they call it a VNT type turbocharger, which sits on the engine around the exhaust. And what's happening and what has happened for the last year is I'm not getting the turbo to kick in properly. As I say, we decided to change the turbo because an expert is telling me until you change that turbo, you won't really know. So that's what we've decided to do, and that's why Peter is here helping me. I discussed it with my partner, and we decided to take a chance because anytime I looked at a picture, this is what you saw. Okay, it's not a blue box, but according to Garrett, it is exactly the same turbo unit that I could spend £2,800 on and get from Volvo. That's where we are. I've asked Pete to join me. He's going to do most of the work, and we'll film this, and hopefully it will help you if you're in the same predicament as we find ourselves in.
So the turbo that we're actually going to look at today, as Gary's quite clearly explained, is this one on the port engine. And we'll see if we can swap it out and hopefully show you step by step how we go along if we can get the camera in whilst we are doing the work. So the first thing that we need to take off is this air filter. Is that right, Gary?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to undo this. We've got an 8mm socket, and that must be wrong. So that is a 8, so that must be a 7mm actually. I'll swap that over with you.
What is that one? If not, it's a flat nose screwdriver.
No, it's a 7mm, that's good. And that undoes. I remember you saying that it's imperative to keep this absolutely clean. Is that
Yes,
correct?
That's right. There should be no debris in there at all.
I can't see
In
any, and
fact,
hopefully you can see that on the camera, that it's lovely and clean. I'm going to pass that to you, Gary.
if there is any debris for anyone, it's imperative they change for a new filter.
So the next part is to take off this cover, which is just a heat shield, I think, isn't it, Gary?
It's a heat shield, yeah, they get very hot. And
So long nose pliers for doing this, and this should...
it's a bit fiddly.
It is a bit fiddly, isn't it? Oh, I see, that comes out of...
It should just...
Oh, I see, that sort of just unclips over the top, like so. And I'm trying not to let that go.
It should be caught the other end.
There we go. So that's that one spring off. I'm just going to put that over there. And there's one the other side, is it?
The other side.
I see it. Again, it's trying to do this so you're not losing the springs in the bottom of the engine anywhere, isn't it? It's a little bit of a wrestle, I have to say. These are...
Yeah, these are not the original ones. These are sort of aftermarket. They are better because they don't break down with the fiberglass like the original part does.
I'm going to leave that other spring that's still attached.
Yeah, that's still
and
attached.
Effectively, that just pulls out.
Perfect.
And then there we go. There's the spring that I've left attached there, and the other one's off. What we will do is, before we put this back on again, I'll put that other spring back on there, and we'll reattach it. So the next thing to take off is this little clamp, and this is to loosen.
Yeah, that bracket's just to support the oil feed and oil drain pipes in and out of the turbo.
And we're just loosening that, or are we taking that off completely?
If you loosen it, you'll find that it'll just fall away. If you loosen it enough, it won't. You don't have to take the nut right off. You can twist it, and it'll just come off.
You have to loosen that
quite
a bit, don't you? And again, I'm trying not to
drop
anything down.
Which is always what happens to me.
I see. Yeah, the way that comes away. And that is now clear. We'll put that somewhere safe, just over there, because I'm not sure if you can see. But just down here, we've got to take this off of here. What part is this, Gary?
That's the exhaust, if you like, manifold that goes down into the main exhaust pipe there. And we need to remove this purely so it makes it easy to get the turbo off.
Understood. And because it's a boat that goes out to sea, everything is double Jubilee clipped. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Is that not the same on a riverboat?
No, not always. Certain manufacturers, they double Jubilee clip it, but it's not always the case.
Perfect.
Just going to put the light back over there. That one's nice and loose as well. So this will just...
Yep, that'll just peel off when we need to move it to make room with the turbo.
So that's nice and loose now.
The other thing we want to do is just loosen this reservoir for the coolant.
Okay.
And that'll just give us a bit more wiggle room as well if we do that.
That's great. Socket set looks like it will be a 13mm for this one. Just going to move the camera. So
sorry.
Hopefully, if I point at this, the camera should be able to see what I'm doing on that.
Yep.
And this is a through bolt.
It's a through bolt, and if you undo it all the way, which you can do, just make sure it's loose. You'll find the bottle will move just enough when we need it to. So don't take it out.
Don't withdraw that.
Don't withdraw it. Just gives us enough wiggle room. That's it.
And that's all it needs.
That's all it needs.
Marvelous. Okay. So the next bit to take off is this pipe, and this is an oil pipe.
That's right. That's the oil supply pipe, I believe. So you might get
it. Wasn't very. Doesn't need to be ever so tight
because those copper washers there.
Washers. Now I remember you telling me that in this there are 2 copper washers on the end of a pin.
That's right. Or that pin that you're unscrewing, if you like. So that'll come out.
I'm doing it by hand, just so I'm being...
Yeah. There should be a copper washer under the face of that.
In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the... just to give me a little bit of...
Yeah.
I see where it went.
Yeah. So
and that's actually by default, that's something with that copper washer, and I will just retrieve it from the floor, that can happen to you. It can ping out as it happened to me, and those 2 copper washers can bounce around inside the engine well. So be careful with that. The next one to take out is not this pipe. We're not going to take that out completely. We're going to take this one here. I don't know if you can see that, and that's held underneath by 2 10mm bolts. Because you can't see that from up there, where the cameraman is sitting, I'm going to move the camera down so we can see where these goes onto down here. But they're 10mm bolts,
and there's a gasket.
And there's a gasket that we've got to be very wary of as well. Okay, so this is quite tricky to get to, so I'm hoping you can see this on the camera. Socket, and as I withdraw that, there you go, that's one of the 10mm bolts out of there. I'm going to put that up out the way and nice and safe. Whilst I then go for the other one, which is a real tricky little one to get to. And I'm going to do the same thing. We will withdraw. Sorry, my hand is in the way of the camera here. And we will withdraw that. And there we go. There's the other one out there. So now those bolts are out, and I have to say they were pretty tricky. The next thing, just to make life easier for us, is to undo this clamp here. So when we eventually loosen this off, that should just pull out. Is that right?
That's what I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So again, we're on a.
It's got to detach, but
yes. Yeah. We're on a 7mm socket for that. And I'm going to loosen that.
Short nylon bit of hose.
It feels like a nylon.
Yeah.
Do we need to do the bottom one?
I don't think so. But
okay, we'll leave that. We may come back to that in a moment. Okay, so first of all, we need to undo a nut underneath, which is quite tricky. It's probably the most difficult nut on this, because it's right on the blind side where you can't see. So we've got to do it by feel. We've then got these 2 nuts to undo off these bolts. That takes it off of this manifold, if you like. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 bolts to get loose with the nuts that are on the end of those to actually get the exhaust off. So first of all, I'm going to go in for this one. And it is all by feel. And it's a little bit tricky to do, and I have got a glove in the way, I appreciate, on camera, and I don't want that to fall. Get that off of there, and there we go. That's the nut, and that's pretty tricky to get hold of.
And you've done that with a socket?
And I've done that with a socket, so I think that was a little bit easier than trying to get a spanner in there. Right, the next things we're going to do is take off these, but I'm going to put this somewhere safe first of all. Okay, so the next thing we do is going to undo these 2 off the manifold, and then these, as I said earlier, these ones here, these are 13mm, and as you'd expect, they're pretty tight.
Do the bigger sockets.
That's done that one. Tell you what, the guy who did these up, he must have had his Weetabix on that morning. Wouldn't like to meet him in a dark alleyway. Anyway, they're off of that. So that one and this one, again, we've always been careful not to drop them into the engine, but they're the 2 that complete the trio there. And then we need a 15mm on the 3 that are here. golly, that one's tight. So that one's loose. We're going to need a little extender for this one. If you've got one to hand,
what was it, 15 mil?
Just the little extender bar for the socket. Do this one underneath, which again is also tight. Get them to hand loosen, and we're going to put a little extender on here to see if this makes life any easier. Get into.
I think you might need a.
I think we're going to need a 15 mil spanner on that one. You can probably see there's just not enough room here to get a socket over the top of that.
Yeah.
So what have we got there? That's a 13 mil spanner I've got down here, but we're going to need a 15 mil. 15, yes please, if you got one. Wonderful. Okay, that's not going to fit on there either. Let's see how we get on with this. There we go. I'm saying how tight it is. Of course, makes it look like.
So obviously,
I'm making more of a deal of it. But,
yeah. Obviously, there's gaskets on both of these,
and we've got to be very careful with those gaskets, if I remember you saying.
Well, not so much with these two because we'll replace them with new. I think.
Okay.
Comes with the set. That is amazing.
And I'm doing this one underneath. And again, apologies if all you can see is a black glove moving. I'm trying to do it so I've got a clear shot with the camera. It's a little bit tricky to get hands into it and try not to drop the nut or the bolt as it comes out. Oh, that one's become a nut. So I can live over there. Right, now it's time to withdraw this. And this is a matter of trying to wiggle everything until it starts to come loose. These things are pretty heavy. I can see that if this stud had actually come out as well, it would have made life a lot easier.
Bring this out of here.
So we'll
pull it up. That's it. Get it up.
There we go. So that little bit of
that's why we undid that. So to try and give you a bit of.
I see. Give us a little bit of lateral movement. So we continue on our struggle to try and withdraw everything. I'm going to rescue this gasket before we go any further. There we go. So that's that gasket. I'm going to move this to one side, drop that down, rescue the secondary gasket, and then we're in a position where we can get this pipe off of there, and hopefully now we can just wiggle this clear. We've got one more hose to undo on here because I can see that there's a hose. You probably can't see that from the camera angle. If I take this attachment off, so do this a little bit more. There we go. So that one's now released, and we just put that on there so we don't lose it. And this should now, with 6 pairs of hands, because that's what you need, the turbo is now off. Time to take this out and swap it out for the new one. Okay, so the first thing that we've done is put the new crush gasket on the manifold that I think is the heat exchanger, potentially, but I'm not entirely sure. It's a little ill-fitting. Okay, so we've got this crush gasket on here. Be very careful. The edges of these things are hugely sharp. I found out to my cost. There is now a plaster underneath my glove. Right, let's get this turbo lined up. And of course, it's immensely heavy and we mustn't drop the turbo. So we're going to line this up and on she goes. I made that look more easier than it actually was. Anyway, that's on, and now we will put the trio of nuts back on. That is one up here, one up here. I'm not going to do them up fully tight at the moment. I just want to get everything on there, and one round here, which I will do by feel. There we go. So that's on, and that's going to hold that on. Okay, so that's the turbo on. These nuts have been fully tightened to the correct torque, and now we're going to put the filter housing or the filter catcher back on, and that just, I was going to say just slides on there, but it wasn't quite as easy as that. Hopefully my head is not in the way. That connector, or interface connector, I think it's probably what it's called, is on nice and tight on there, ready for the filter that will go back on there as a very last thing. So next thing is to connect this, it's a nylon sort of connector. Just goes on there, and we swizzle this Jubilee clip around. And as usual, you need about 15 hands to do anything. I'm continuously relocating that so it's in the right place. So as we tighten this up, it's in the right place. So now that's that bottom oil hose is attached. We've got to attach this top one. Now before we do that, we need to put a little drop of oil in there so when she starts up, she's not running dry from start. So that's what we're going to do now. And apparently, there's no particular measure of it, but you just put it in until you can't get any more in at all. Okay, so that's the oil been preloaded into the turbo, and now we're going to put the top pipe, which is this one, on, and we're going to find that we need to do that and put these two washers, one either side of that, just to make sure that you get a nice seal on it. So we put that in the top, we put one in on the bottom there with it lined up, and we tighten that down, and that should be job done.
Don't forget the gasket, will you?
Yeah, I've got it.
You got the old one, yeah?
And that's that tightened and done. Next bit, we fit the exhaust back onto its manifold by gently slotting that in down there, turning that to fit. We mustn't forget the new gasket, and then we use these to reattach it. Okay, so we will now drop gasket in, lining that up with the holes so I can then get the stud in the hole to line up as well. Do the same thing with this, and that's tight. That's tight. And that is tight. That is now the exhaust reconnected to the turbo. Next thing, connect the exhaust to the outer exhaust pipe. Final part to do on this, just to reattach this where we loosened it, if you remember, to give us a little bit of extra room. So we reattach that. Final thing to put on is the air filter. Now if you noticed on here, it's got the word up written on it, so we know that that goes up, so it's the right way. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me why that makes a difference. So we'll put that on And for those of you who are watching carefully, you'll notice I moved the up. So I'll just readjust that. There we go. That's on, nicely done. One last thing to put on is this bracket. I'll put that back on the where there was a clean bit, so we know it's back where it needed to be. That's that. And there's my cameraman ably reminded me there is one last piece to put on, and that is the heat shield jacket, which lives, if I put it on the right way up would help, wouldn't it? And that lives over there, and then I will just thread all the springs through, reattach them here, and that should be the job done. So there we have it, 2 turbo, all fitted. And you can hear the wastegate opening on the starboard. Now let's try it on the one that we fixed. So there you have it. It's a bit of a job. It's a very hot day, something like 34, 35 degrees outside, but that's the turbo fitted. We've tried it, we've tested it, we've run the engine up, and it all looks like it's good. We'll try not to do too many of those in the future, I think. Okay guys, well that's the job done. I want to thank Peter very much for all his help. I couldn't have done it without him. It's been great fun, and it's been great fun actually to see it being videoed. And the added bonus for you guys is that you've got to see what he looked like with those stupid glasses on. Bye. Anyway, as always, if you like what you see, please comment below. We would love to hear from you. The subscribe button is over here in the corner, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers now.